I came back from my honeymoon to a $563 electricity bill, nearly $400 higher than normal. We were in Maui for 2 weeks, so no one was even home. After checking everything, I found a heavy-duty extension cord running from my outdoor outlet straight into my neighbor Linda's garage. Peeking through the window, I saw the reason. She'd turned her garage into a spot hot tub. Sound system, lights, mini fridge, all powered by my electricity. When I confronted her, she said, "Oh, outdoor outlets are shared community property. Totally normal." She even claimed her late husband, an electrician, told her it was fine. Then had the nerve to say, I probably had old wiring issues. I'm a software engineer who works in renewable energy, know how electricity works. What she didn't know, that outlet was connected to my energy monitoring system. I collected usage logs, timestamps, and camera footage and sent it all to the HOA and utility company. She ended up fined, forced to repay the extra charge. Thanks to a neighbor's post, she became a viral internet meme. Don't steal power from someone who works in power systems, especially not while they're on their honeymoon. After confronting my neighbor Linda about her spa setup stealing $400 of my electricity, I texted her with the numbers 8,000 watts a day, over $1,800 a month if run non-stop. She'd been leeching off my outdoor outlet for 3 months. Her reply, "Your calculations are wrong. My late husband was an electrician. You must have electrical issues." She even threatened to report me for harassing a grieving widow. That's when I snapped. I remembered my home inspector mentioning some creative wiring. Turns out, my outdoor outlet, the one powering Linda's hot tub, was on the same circuit as my septic pump. So every time someone in my house flushed a toilet, the septic pump would kick in and cut power to the outlet. In other words, my toilet controlled her hot tub. Cue Operation Flush. At 7:30 a.m., when Linda started her daily spa session, I drank a huge coffee. At 7:32, I flushed. 10 seconds later, I heard, "What the hell?" from her garage. I flushed at 1:15 p.m. again, then 8:30 p.m. strategic flushes, perfectly timed. Her music kept cutting. Her hot tub turned cold. She was losing her mind. She started running tests, blaming faulty circuits, pacing and muttering. But nothing made sense to her because the problem was me. She thought she was getting a free spa. Instead, she got a flush-powered sabotage she'd never forget. After weeks of sabotaging my neighbor Linda's hot tub by flushing my toilet, yes, really, I noticed something amazing. She was getting obsessed. From my kitchen window, I watched her turn her garage into a makeshift lab stopwatch, notebooks, digital clock, testing tools. She was tracking every power outage. Then she posted in our neighborhood group, anyone else noticing exact 60-second outages around the same time each day? Might be a serious grid stability issue. Everyone replied, "Nope, all good here." So Linda escalated. She called the utility company. A truck rolled in, did a full inspection, and left her standing there, confused and unsatisfied. Then came the big twist. She brought in Mike, her late husband Tom's former business partner and electrician. After a thorough inspection, Mike said everything looks perfect. Tom's work is solid. If you're losing power, it's gotta be external. And that's when Linda's genius theory struck. It must be atmospheric pressure. Pressure changes are causing electromagnetic interference in the grid. She actually posted that. I nearly spit out my beer. Suddenly, Linda became a self-declared barometric scientist. She bought a digital barometer, made colorful charts, tracked pressure shifts, and even emailed a local TV meteorologist, asking if air pressure causes electrical failures. All the while, I just kept flushing in, drinking extra coffee to help her data look accurate. She thought she was doing cutting-edge research. I was just doing bathroom science. The meteorologist's polite but confused response basically said that, While severe weather 3 weeks into my petty revenge, my neighbor Linda had gone full mad scientist. After her hot tub kept shutting off, thanks to my septic pump cutting her stolen power whenever I flushed, she became convinced it was caused by atmospheric pressure fluctuations. She built a full-blown research station in her garage. Weather apps, barometers, notebooks, graphs hand-drawn, no less. Then, she took it a step further. Community Electrical Safety Forum this Saturday at 2 p.m. in my garage. I will present my findings on how pressure changes are disrupting our grid. Your family's safety may depend on it. 8 people RSVPED, including me. Saturday came. Linda had folding chairs, a projector, and was dressed like she was giving a TED Talk. On display, her spa setup, her notebook of outage times, and her hot tub still very much plugged into my outlet. These disruptions are not random, she explained. They follow consistent, timed patterns caused by electromagnetic interference from pressure fluctuations. Margaret clapped. Timothy smirked. I fought back a grin. Then Linda made the announcement. Based on current atmospheric pressure, 3012 and dropping, we should experience an outage in the next 10 minutes. She stepped into her hot tub, proud and confident. This was my cue. I walked home, straight to the bathroom, and flushed. From across the yard, I heard the jazz music cut off. Linda jolted upright in the water. Everyone looked confused. Linda gasped. It's happening, right on schedule. The crowd was speechless. Some even nodded, impressed. I stood at the window, sipping coffee, watching her bask in her scientific discovery, completely unaware she had just given a live presentation on my toilet schedule. It was the moment I'd been waiting for. Linda, my electricity-stealing neighbor, was mid-presentation in her garage, explaining how atmospheric pressure was wreaking havoc on the neighborhood power grid, complete with slides, charts, and a barometer. Right then, I stood up. Linda, this is fascinating. Mind if I share some engineering data? She smiled. Of course, Alex. You probably have professional atmospheric monitoring equipment. Actually, I tapped my phone. Flush. I'd installed a Wi-Fi toilet, yes. That's a thing connected to my septic system. The pump kicked in with a low hum. A second later, her hot tub died, jets off. Lights out. Jazz music silenced. The crowd gasped. Linda, soaking in silence, looked victorious. See? Atmospheric interference. Perfect timing. I smiled and pulled out my folder. Actually, that was my toilet. I led the stunned group to my electrical panel. Linda's hot tub is plugged into my outdoor outlet. That outlet shares a circuit with my septic pump. Every time we flush, it draws so much power, it cuts electricity to her spa. The room was silent. I held up my electricity bills. Linda's been stealing about $400 a month in electricity for 3 months. That's $1,200. Her hot tub draws 8,000 watts. I have the usage logs, calculations, and proof. Mrs. Harris gasped. Mr. Cooper looked stunned. Timothy nearly fell over laughing. Wait, he said between breaths. You tracked atmospheric pressure. When Alex flushed his toilet. Margaret looked horrified. You emailed the weather guy about bathroom habits. Linda was frozen, still in the water, surrounded by her chart switch. Now everyone realized, we're just a colorful analysis of my family's toilet schedule. I looked her in the eye. You didn't just steal power. You gaslit me, threatened me, and invented fake science to justify it. And now, your entire theory has gone down the drain. As people left, some laughed, some shook their heads, others were texting furiously. Timothy looked like he was already editing a viral video in his head. Linda just sat there, alone, in a now useless hot tub. Her projector still showing a slide labeled, electromagnetic interference, patterns, and pressure trends, which we all now knew actually meant, every time Alex has coffee and flushes, my spa turns off. The truth was out. And so was Linda. What none of us realized that day in Linda's garage was this was just the beginning. Timothy, ever the opportunist, had filmed the whole toilet flush takedown, and by that evening, he texted me, "Posting this tomorrow. Linda's about to be famous. Want a tag?" I told him to go for it. By Sunday morning, the video was live. POV, your neighbor blames atmospheric pressure for stealing your electricity. Within hours, it exploded 50,000 views by noon. By Monday, 300K. Tuesday, over 1 million. The internet went wild. She really tracked this man's bathroom schedule and called it science. Best example of confirmation bias ever. Karen meets engineering new Halloween costume unlocked. The memes were merciless. Linda became atmospheric. Pressure Karen overnight. Weather memes, parody research papers, fake academic journal covers. Someone even mocked up a forecast. 30% chance of flush, 70% chance of atmospheric pressure. Linda, still doing temp work, walked into a new office Monday. The receptionist gasped, "Wait, you're that Karen?" By lunch, the entire office had seen the video. She didn't get called back. This happened everywhere: grocery store, gas station, coffee shop. People whispered, pointed, smirked. "How's the atmospheric pressure today?" They'd joke. Linda tried to respond online, saying she was grieving and misunderstood. The internet wasn't having it. You called a meteorologist about bathroom timing. Real struggles don't justify stealing $1,200 in electricity. Meanwhile, I became the face of engineering justice. I was tagged in memes, featured in blogs, and even got invited to speak on a podcast about electrical ethics. Professor asked if he could use the whole saga in his classroom. From neighborhood dispute to viral case study, all because Linda tried to explain power theft with atmospheric pressure. The internet didn't just flush her theory, it made her legendary. After Timothy's video exploded, engineering students started sharing it in group chats as a cautionary tale. This is what happens when you mess with an engineer. Local news picked it up. So did engineering magazines, turning Linda's meltdown into a full-blown case study on confirmation bias. Even the meteorologist Linda had once contacted gave a public interview. She's a textbook example of how someone can spiral into elaborate, incorrect theories with full confidence. Linda couldn't go anywhere without hearing whispers. Grocery clerks smirked. Drivers recognized the house. At church, the pastor pulled her aside. "Linda, we need to talk about this internet situation." Her support system crumbled. Neighbors avoided her. The woman who once cheered her on now wouldn't even return her calls. Eventually, Linda broke. She sold her house at $10,000 below market to an investor who didn't care about viral notoriety. The home was resold to the Patel family, who thought the whole story was hilarious. "You must be the engineer," Raj said when he introduced himself. "We promise no atmospheric pressure theories here," Priya joked. The neighborhood finally laughed again. Meanwhile, Timothy launched a YouTube channel, Engineering Justice. I became his go-to guest. We did episodes like How to Detect Electrical Theft, the science behind the viral hot tub saga. Septic Systems 101 sponsors rolled in. Subscribers soared past for HOA. Linda was gone. Life was normal. Until exactly 1 year later, I got an email. Subject line, Atmospheric Pressure Research Follow-up. You won't believe this. It was from Dr. Elena Martinez of NOA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. I opened it and froze. While Ms. Walsh's theory was flawed, she wrote, her obsessive data collection intrigued us. She's now one of our most valuable volunteer researchers in Oregon. There's much more to this story than the internet knows. What? I called instantly. Mr. Carter, Dr. Martinez said warmly. Thank you for reaching out. Linda Walsh might have become a meme, but she's also become an unexpected asset in our citizen science projects. Apparently, Linda had turned her meltdown into a method. She was now tracking barometric trends, submitting data and unknowingly helping climate research teams. Irony of all ironies, the woman who blamed atmospheric pressure for stolen electricity was now contributing to real, atmospheric science. Maybe the internet crushed her. Maybe she deserved it. Or maybe, just maybe, Linda Walsh found her true calling by accident. Either way, I couldn't help but smile, because science has a funny way of humbling all of us, even engineers. After going viral, Linda Walsh disappeared to Portland, hoping to escape the internet. But her obsession with atmospheric pressure didn't stop. It evolved. She applied to a government citizen science program and almost got rejected due to the viral scandal, but her sample data was too good to ignore. Her readings are professional grade, said Dr. Martinez from NOAA. She takes measurements every 30 minutes, every day, all year round. She's self-taught college-level meteorology and contributes to real climate research. Linda, once a neighborhood meme, had become one of the top 5 volunteer data collectors in the Pacific Northwest. Her data appeared in peer-reviewed papers and government weather models. The irony was brutal. The woman mocked for pseudoscience had mastered actual science. I was stunned. Had my viral revenge somehow helped her? Dr. Martinez sent me the published reports. Each one cited Linda's precise data. Walsh, Portland Monitoring Station. I sat in my backyard, rethinking everything. Maybe I hadn't destroyed her life. Maybe, in a strange way, I'd helped her find purpose. I finally wrote to her. Ms. Walsh, I just wanted to say, I'm glad you found peace and purpose in real science. Your work matters. 3 days later, she replied, Alex, you were right about everything. I was grieving, broke, and desperate. I invented a theory to justify theft, embarrassed myself, and dishonored my late husband's memory. But through that collapse, I found something real. Today, I contribute to actual research. I don't expect forgiveness, but I haven't forgotten. I still owe you $1,400. I responded the same day. Thank you, Linda. Your journey is remarkable, and the past, it's forgiven. I offered Linda a different kind of repayment. Instead of the $1,400, consider donating to a school science program. Help students learn real science, something your story now teaches better than any textbook. She wrote back, That's perfect. I'll contact Portland schools and fund weather station equipment, and I'll make sure students learn the value of real scientific method and the cost of getting it wrong. Thank you, Alex, for more grace than I deserved. And that, I thought, was the end. But it wasn't. 2 years later, while researching a coastal energy grid project, I found a technical paper, Atmospheric Pressure Correlations with Electrical Grid Fluctuations in Pacific Coastal Regions. One of the authors, L. Walsh. Yes, that Linda Walsh. Her research found that rapid changes in barometric pressure during storm events do affect power transmission, not household outlets, but grid-level systems in storm-prone coastal areas. It was legitimate science. Her obsession had come full circle. She'd earned a master's in atmospheric science from Oregon State. Now she was pursuing her PhD, her dissertation, Atmospheric Pressure Effects on Electrical Grid Stability. The same woman who once blamed barometric pressure for my bathroom schedule was now publishing real research on weather and the power grid. In a public TV interview, Linda stood in a lab coat beside precision instruments. I created fake science to justify theft. I was wrong scientifically, ethically, personally. But that humiliation forced me to learn the real thing. I owe that to Alex Carter, the neighbor who caught me. His bathroom demo taught me more about correlation versus causation than any class ever could. She looked straight into the camera. Alex, if you're watching this, you didn't just stop an electrical thief. You launched a scientist. I sat there stunned. Sometimes karma isn't revenge. Sometimes karma is a lab coat, a weather station, and a second chance that actually sticks. Linda once tried to blame atmospheric pressure for her stealing electricity from my house. I exposed her with a bathroom schedule chart and some solid engineering. 2 years later, I found her name on a scientific paper about actual atmospheric pressure and electrical grid stability. It wasn't a joke. She'd gone back to school, earned a PhD, and was now Dr. Linda Walsh consulting for utility companies, working with the National Weather Service, and giving talks on grid reliability during storms. In her dissertation, she thanked me too. Alex Carter, whose engineering integrity exposed my pseudoscience and redirected my obsession toward real research. This work exists because someone cared enough to correct dangerous misinformation. Linda had gone from stealing electricity to preventing blackouts. Recently, she even referred me to collaborate on a new solar efficiency project, so now I'm literally working with the same woman who once tracked my bathroom schedule like it was barometric data. Was this justice, karma, or just a strange redemption arc no one saw coming? Maybe the lesson is this: sometimes exposing nonsense can change a life. Sometimes the person who wronged you can turn out to be someone worth working with. And sometimes, your weirdest neighbor becomes your most unexpected ally. I'm Alex, and this was BD Stories. If you laughed, learned, or just got reminded that life is really, really weird, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next wild ride. Until then, keep your circuits grounded and your science real.